Pennsylvania, Mr. Clark Spencer. Wir machen keine halben Sachen, wir haben beide Regisseure hier. Mr. Rich Moore und Mr. Byron Howard. Clark Spencer, Rich Moore. Hello to see you.
I see you too.
Hello. Hey, hi.
Hi,
So,
everybody.
Sit here on our stool.
Wie ist euer Deutsch? How's your German?
Terrible.
Terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Ein bisschen Deutsch.
Da gehen wir mal alle durch und freuen uns total.
But yeah,
That was very good.
Rich and I both took 4 years of German.
I took three
in
high school.
Well, don't say that because that makes you want to do it in German with you. I think it's 3 or 4 years.
Nein, das ist nicht mein Gepäck. I learned that in school.
This is good. That's very
How
helpful.
was my pronunciation?
Marvelous. Not too shabby. That was very good. Thank you for this wonderful movie. We're going to take questions from the floor, but I'm going to start because we've just seen it and I know what you've done. I know what the mission was, and I think you succeeded. You're going to turn the world, all of them, into vegetarians because
That's right, yeah.
And
Who's going to want to eat meat after seeing all those adorable animals?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
eat them.
They're too cute.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, of course, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. How were the animal pun sessions for you? The brainstorming.
The animal pun session. Yeah, did the animal puns translate? Did you saw the English version today?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So yeah,
We did a lot of
there were a lot of
puns.
puns.
Most of them bad. But all the good ones made it in. So but
Yeah.
there were a lot.
There's so many. And if you look at the city itself, all over the signage, when you get a chance to look at the film again, you want to watch the film over and over to see. But all over the city, there are signs with animal puns everywhere. And Ed Catmull, one of our boss, Ed Catmull and John Lesser. Ed is not fond of puns. He does not like. He doesn't. No, he's not fond. But
Lowest form of humor.
But no, it's true. But this movie has converted him into a lover of puns.
Yeah.
He's much more.
He's pun loving.
If it's as big as an elephant, it's a good pun, I think.
right, yeah.
No, it's one. So I think it's your job, Clark, if I may say Clark, I just did it, I'm going to do it again.
Clark.
Clark.
That's all. Clark.
Clark. That's a good sound
He's
effect.
freaking out right now. A room of 200 people saying his name all at once.
So I guess you're going to be the one that tells these guys, we got the scene, this is okay, we can move forward, we can go on, we can let it go.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good.
See what I did there?
See, you could be in a story, so, you know.
But how tough was that job to keep them in order?
Well, it's not hard to keep them in order. I think the thing about a producer is you really got to figure out that balance between, at the end of the day, we still have a schedule. We got to get the movie done. There's a release date we have to hit. But at the same time, I always say you can't tell someone you have to be creative today. You can't tell them they've got to figure this out today, because if you do that, at the end of the day, you probably won't get the best answer. And so it's always that balance of giving enough room to let the team, the directors, and the rest of the story artists and the writers really develop what they need to develop and get it to the right place, against the side of saying we still have to make some decisions at some moment in time. So it's always kind of a balance, but miraculously, somehow, right at the right moment, we make that turn and figure out the idea. And when you hear it, you know that it's exactly the right thing to do. You just feel like it's right for the movie, for the character, for the scene itself.
Yeah, like those sloths. Yeah.
Yes.
Sloths are fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
May I embarrass this man for a moment?
Absolutely.
Clark is probably the best producer that I've worked with, because he hangs back. He lets the creative process happen organically. He is not a producer that says we need to be creative today, because when you do that for creative people, I think, then they stop being creative for the week. You know, if you tell them to be creative today, you know. So Clark really understands the creative process, how these films are made, and he really respects it. You know, and he's a terrific partner to have on a film like this.
You should meet yeah. Big applause for Yeah. You should meet the producer of my show, he's an asshole. Was ich noch sagen wollte, ihr dürft jetzt theoretisch, weil wir sind ja immer 4 wirklich wahnsinnig gut aussehende Männer, ihr könntet jetzt theoretisch eure Handys rausnehmen und Fotos machen oder das filmen. Oder? I just told them they can, you know, film us now if they want to. Because we're so good looking.
Oh,
yeah.
So good. Here.
Apropos gut aussehen, ich sehe ein bisschen was. Wir haben Mikrofone im Saal, ist das richtig? Da ist ein Mikrofon, also mit einer Frau dran. Da auch? Okay.
2 Mikrofone.
2 Mikrofone. We're going to take some questions from the floor. If you're up for it, you're up.
Are you ready to take some questions?
I think you should take some questions.
I'm ready.
Yeah?
I'm ready.
Some of you
I've been
guys-
preparing all day.
Animation students?
Do we have animation students?
Oh, they're shy at first, like,
God bless.
maybe I'm
Bless
an
you.
animation student. No, I might be.
Sometimes that gets you beat up. You know, when
That's true, yeah. Sometimes they.
Who's the animation student? Get up!
At your place, they'd be like, Clark, can I raise my hand? So, also, wer hat eine Frage? Bitte. Ich habe noch 75.000, aber ihr solltet vielleicht auch. So, Johannes.
Ja.
Wolltest du anonym bleiben? So.
No. How about your directors? Now they praised you. What can you tell them? Can tell you us about them?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Clark.
Hey, Clark.
Tell us about us.
Hey, Clark, remember how I said all those good things about you?
Yeah.
What do you think about us?
Yeah. Well, of all the directors at Disney,
They're
Yeah.
awesome. They're the
What's good
best.
about us?
They're totally the best. I mean, I think the interesting thing, and it really was part of the building of this entire story, is both Rich and Byron come from a different place in terms of where they started their animation careers. Byron, I don't know if you all know this, but Byron started his career at Walt Disney World, working at an attraction called The Little Mermaid. Wanting to be a part of Disney animation, he applied 4 times. Did not get in because we were not smart enough to say yes. But the 5th time, thanks to your perseverance, he applied and got accepted into the intern program. His career immediately took off. He was a supervising animator on Lilo and Stitch, working with me on that project. And then quickly became a story artist and then directed Bolt, which was Oscar nominated, directed the worldwide hit Tangled, or Rapunzel, I think, in here in Germany. Really, kind of Disney raised in some ways and brings that great sensibility to this film. Rich, of course, comes...
But didn't you used to be a tour guide?
I did. That's where I started. I was a tour guide at Walt Disney. I was showing people around, holding a microphone like this, wearing a terrible polyester jacket. Awful polyester.
And those were never in style.
No.
Do you remember any of the spiel?
Oh, and the spiel, welcome to the magic of Disney animation, everybody. If you want to walk in the theater on the left, I'll be showing you. Make someone smile. You point with 2 fingers.
What would happen if you point with 1 finger?
Oh, you're fired. Yeah.
So 2 fingers, people, for all the students, remember.
But Rich has done some stuff before.
Yeah, Rich has obviously...
I was never a tour guide.
Rich and a storied past in television animation, working on the first 5 Simpsons, directing in the first 5 years of The Simpsons, directing some of the most iconic Simpsons episodes, Futurama, came to Disney in 2008, directed the Oscar-nominated worldwide hit Wreck-It Ralph. And so it's been amazing because I got to work with both these guys on different projects to see them come together as a team and really develop these characters and this amazing world and this story. And I think it's partly the DNA of this film is that they both are bringing what they're so great at to this film together. And people always say, why 2 directors? And I think partly because they bring different things to the table, which is amazing and fantastic. So I love working with them. I feel very fortunate.
That was very nice, Clark. Thank you.
I feel so much love up here. Romance.
Yeah.
So, noch eine Frage. Wir haben... Geht das durch? Seid ihr so gut?
Hi, let me say first, that was a really wonderful film, and it
Thank you.
touches my emotion. That was really wonderful. Thank you. So my question is about the story. You cannot help to think about we here in Germany, we have the refugees situation, and the story reminded me a lot about all these topics. Was it always intended or not?
You know, it's funny. It didn't start that way. It evolved organically over the years. I've been on this movie for about 5 years, which is a long, long time. And when it first started, this was a spy movie with animals, and it was called Savage Seas because there was a jackrabbit. His name was Jack Savage, and he was sort of a James Bond spy. And I thought this was the greatest idea ever. I had plans for many movies, Savage Seas, Savage
franchise
Earth,
plan.
Savage this, Savage that. It's going to be awesome. And
I already made the toys.
I did the posters and everything. When the art of the book comes out, look in the art of the book, you'll see the posters that I did for all these movies. That didn't happen. But what happens is I was pitching this version of the movie over and over and over again to the Story Trust, which Rich and myself are a part of, and to John Lasseter. And the more I pitched it, the more they said, we all hate the spy thing, but we love...
Weren't that mean?
They
We didn't say hate, we said we disliked it.
But they said what they did like was Act 1, where all the animals lived together in this amazing animal city, which was, okay, and they said, okay, oh fine. So I'll throw away the spy thing. I threw it away, went away. And so we started crafting this thing about an all-animal city and how animals could get along. And in our research into animals, we did about almost a year of research into what makes animals tick and how the animal world works. And we found out that in nature, 90% of mammals are prey animals, and only 10% are predators. And we thought, that's really interesting. That's like our own world. That's like a majority and a minority. And we thought, wouldn't it be interesting to talk about this world that's evolved from animals that used to eat each other thousands of years ago, and think about, did they completely get over their fear of each other? Is there still some of that?
Are the prey still afraid
Yeah.
of predators?
It's still buried down on some primal
level. And that's when we start to kind of, once we do this research and we kind of, packed our heads with all these facts and stuff, then you start to use your imagination and say, like, well, what if in that group there was a character that was going to use that fear from long ago to turn the majority against the minority, and it was really born that way, not with any sort of political message or intellectual theory, that was being played out. It was more the emotion of fear, of what if within an animal world that's a lot like ours, of evolved creatures, basic primal instincts were being used against their own people. And what I think is cool is, as we've made this film, it's like current events came to pass that now, like any good art, I think, art is creating conversation, and it's making people kind of look at the world a little bit differently. Or I know when I was a kid, the movies that I liked made me kind of examine my life from what I saw the protagonist doing and the situations he or she was in. And I think that maybe we have something like that.
Yeah, wonderful. What I got from this is that Byron is still bitter about the spy thing.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's still a great idea. The posters
Every day. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. The posters are great.
We're going to see them in the art of...
The art, I think they are in the art.
They are.
But could you say now which character was the most difficult to design or to come up with? So,
To give you an idea of how long it takes for us to design one of these characters. Clark can tell you, he knows how much it costs. So, Clark, tell us
dollar amount to that?
how long does it take to design, say the Nick, for example, how long does it take?
So a character like Nick's takes 1 year. From the initial design into the model, to test the rig, to start to move that character around, to put the fur on. Nick has 2 million hairs on him, 2 million, all groomed, to do all that research in terms of that fur, and then to put the clothes on top of it, to create the simulation, and then to continue to go back and forth. It takes a year before the animators can actually start using that character for what will fundamentally be seen in the film.
And that's
itself.
after a long period of time of just researching fox fur, and what does it look like and how does it reflect light and nature, and then designing strands of fox fur, to cover the rig with. So, yeah, it's a
long
big,
process.
long, arduous process.
Yeah, we have we have a great tradition at Disney of appealing character designs, and so our character designer, Corey Loftus, really looked back at classic Disney films like Robin Hood, which is one of my favorites, and Jungle Book, which I know you guys like, and Rich is very fond of that as well. So we tried to take that great classic Disney look, but now we get to wrap it in this amazing CG world with the technology that Clark is talking about. And we really wanted this film to feel like you could step into the world and feel like this is a real place, and those are real animals. And just the more we looked at real animals, the more we knew we just didn't want to make a cartoon version of them. We wanted to celebrate what was special about each species.
Because like the classic animators, the 9 Old Men, they could only approximate like what fur looked like in 2D animation. It was a suggestion of what that is, where this is kind of taking it down, right down to the strand and making it look very realistic.
What could they do?
Yeah,
those Nine Old Men.
Yeah, they were
What
old.
would they do?
Yeah. What have they done lately?
Sorry,
I like
Ollie.
you.
Sorry, Ollie. So, hier vorne. Im Schlusssprung hinspringen oder hinwerfen? Oh, da
Who's going to get it there first?
Oh,
there's
yeah.
that. Came right over his shoulder.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much again for the movie.
Now
It was very good. Good moment. So my question is, you make a lot of puns and you take a lot of time for designing this character. I guess, I'm absolutely sure you have also a great team to check if all these puns in all the countries, all the world are not offensive, are not somebody.
That is a really good question.
How big is your team?
They're looking at it.
Well, yeah, we have, it's funny, it is so big, we dubbed these films into 40 languages?
42 languages.
42 different languages, everything from Mandarin to several different types of Spanish to,
Klingon.
Klingon. I watched. I am a geek. Okay, it's fine.
Klingon money is green too.
It's good. We'll take it.
Yeah, well, it's
And so, but it's really tricky because the dubbing teams, and we have one in each country, and so they have to look at these films and not only try to interpret the emotions and the acting of the characters, but also what you're talking about, which is the humor, which is so different from every territory. Say a Korean audience may not find what we find funny, or they have to find things that are specific pun-wise, and so we kind of leave it to them, and they will share with us their issues, but it's such a large job that
However, it is pretty amazing that a lot of kind of the characteristics of animals, like the elephant never forgetting, and sneaky foxes, and that's amazing how universal that stuff is. The wordplay can get a little tricky. The written words, but the characteristics of the personalities that human beings put onto animals is pretty universal around the world.
And I think as the world has shifted in terms of the more money is coming from international and domestic, we spend a lot more time talking about the ideas in the film and saying, is that something that we just think is funny? Will it actually work? Especially if it's integral to the story. And a great example of that is the sloth scene, where we thought to ourselves, it seems like such a great scene, but will it actually work in other countries? And we did do some testing out there to make sure that idea was going to translate, because it's so integral to the film. To have that kind of a scene sit in your film and not have it work everywhere is too risky. If it's a pun, it's going to go by quickly, and they're going to do their best to figure out how to make it funny for the country, that you can slide by. But when a scene is that integral to what the movie is, juicy, you need it to work everywhere. So you do some testing to make sure the concept of bureaucracy and administration.
The good news is frustration with bureaucracy is universal.
It is. You should go to the offices around here to work that. Speaking of which, do we have another question? Front Row. Da hinten auch noch jemand so? Habt ihr da noch eine Frage irgendwie? Also nicht, ob jemand die Parkgebühr bezahlt, aber... Da dann, okay. Siehst du, da hast du schon, okay. Hi. Hi.
I was just curious, with the huge differences in scales, were there any things that you had to think about, like with the camera work, things to make that work?
Our head of layout who composes every shot would call it a nightmare. Because we decided early on that instead of doing what they normally do in these types of films, and I didn't even realize it, that's how dumb I am, that's how tricky the trick is that they will scale up mice or small animals and scale down the big ones and create kind of a generic lineup, a generic scale of the animals, so they are easy to get into the frame. But we wanted this to be different. We wanted it to be unlike any of those other movies. So we said we're really going to celebrate the scale difference of animals in the wild. So we really stuck to that, especially at points where it would have been easy to kind of fall back to the old trick.
Oh yeah, and John Lasseter was really good because I think he knew early on that scale thing would be so funny, and that train shot you see in the beginning of the film where Judy's on the station platform with her folks was John pushing us to really show early on the scale thing, and people get a huge kick out of that, the big, medium, small. And if you look for it all throughout the movie, we don't always call attention to it, but it's there. There are small doors and little passageways and things, and it's because the city was actually designed by a German guy, Matthias Lechner, who's an amazing guy, amazing designer. Yes, he's amazing. The main thing about that is that Matthias made sure it all worked. It's all, and Hans, what's Hans' last name? Hans Keim is another German, who helped build it all. German design, precision. Yeah, and but the city actually works. Like if you look even at the layout of the city from the air, Thundertown, the cold weather area, is right next to Sahara Square, the hot weather area, and there's a huge air conditioning and heating wall. But we talked to air conditioning experts, and they said if you had enough money and enough determination,
and if you were just crazy enough,
and if you're animals, you could make this work. And so it actually all works. And when Thundertown melts, the runoff from Thundertown fuels the steam cannons that you saw that make the rainforest. So it's all this huge clockwork biodome thing that they created. So
Designed by German?
Designed by Germans.
See, we not only invent, we also design.
That's a little racist.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm a little offended.
Come on,
Who's talking?
have you learned nothing from this movie?
Sorry.
I think you need to watch it again.
Sorry.
Let's roll it.
Yeah, sorry. So, da drüben bitte.
Coming back to this creative process, I have a question for this really notable Marlon Brando's Mr. Big. Who invented this really funny, brilliant person?
The voice of Mr. Big?
No.
Oh.
The idea, the whole idea.
The whole idea.
The whole idea. You know, I don't know. There was
it came from early on. We were just kind of pitching jokes about what would be some funny characters, you know, that Judy could run afoul of, coming out of kind of the crime genre or detective genre, and. Was it Jim Reardon? Our head story is a very funny guy named Jim Reardon. And we were always looking for duality in the characters. And he said, well, what if we have, you know, like a mob boss that everyone's afraid of, and they call him Mr. Big, and it turns out to be a little tiny shrew, you know, and then from there it got into this conversation of, well, what if it looked like Vito Corleone, you know, and what if it sounded just like Marlon Brando, but kind of sped up with like the mice and Cinderella, you know, and we're like, oh,
we started cracking up.
pretty good.
And this is a funny thing about the voice of that guy. So that's Maurice LaMarche. She worked with Rich on The Simpsons for many years. He's a very, very talented voice artist. So when we recorded Maurice doing this voice, we noticed that we didn't get the right sound unless he sat a very particular way. So Maurice is a little chubby, and so he had to kind of sit like this, like that. So he had to talk like this to get the right sound. Because if he did it standing up, it sounded like Robert De Niro. It didn't work. So he had to sit down and do this. We had to get him in a very specific.
We had to throw in entire sessions worth of recording because we didn't have a chair in the room. So, and we were wondering, what's wrong? Why does this sound different? There was no chair. There was no chair in the room.
Thank you. One more question from the floor? Wo ist hier? Hier, ist gut. Ach, da hinten.
Hi. Who of you guys is the big Breaking Bad fan and put in all their references?
Well,
He's
Universal.
the evil sheep. He's Doug.
I did the voice for that sheep.
That sheep, yeah.
And it was when we're making the film. We don't have the cast record everything the first time in every session. What we do is a lot of us working on the movie will provide kind of temporary dialogue or scratch dialogue, just to kind of cut something in and kind of put it to picture to see if it's working. And this was one of those cases. I'm kind of a reluctant actor in this because I had done scratch, voiceover for that character. And when the time came to cast a real actor in the part, John Lasseter said, "No, it's fine. Just leave that in. It's funny. It's good." I'm like, "No, that's not good. No, leave it in." So I'm in it under protest.
People appreciate the Breaking. I think people appreciate the Breaking Bad reference. Like we love movies and we love our favorite TV shows, and the fact that this movie allows us to kind of wink at you guys and have you enjoy it the way we do, because you're like us. We're trying to make ourselves laugh in the story room. We're trying to bring in references, and there's all sorts of movie references folded into the film.
And I think in this genre of talking animal films, like they are supposed to be a mirror image, of human society. So the more there is reference to the human world, to our world in particular, I think the better they work. It's one genre, like within the Disney, kind of canon, I guess, that allows for these kind of referential things, I think.
And you ripped apart Bambi. I noticed that.
What's that?
You ripped apart Bambi. Nick ripped apart
He
Bambi.
did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Ja.
Well,
Still, no one's bitter.
no.
Okay, letzte Frage von euch. Wo haben wir noch eine Frage? Ja, hier.
Hear it.
So, wer ein Mikrofon hat, fängt an zu schreien.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Overseher.
Oh,
Yeah, over here.
very fast.
I have a question. Concerning the story.
Oh, there he is.
There. Hi. Hi. There's so many lights. Everybody's like, yeah.
Concerning the story, because you have two things folded in there. You merge, like the hero's journey, and then and then you have this like 80s buddy crime movie going.
Lethal Weapon. 48
Yeah,
hours.
it's Lethal Weapon. It's 48 hours. You name it. Now merging these two genres and making both of them pretty solid and getting them to work as you did, was that particularly easy or particularly hard to write?
Particularly hard.
Hard. Yeah, more hard than easy. And I think we always kept at the forefront the maturation story, that this is Judy's story, about a young person, moving to a different place and thinking that she understands how the world works, and then realizing that she's not that different from her parents and makes a lot of the same mistakes that her parents did, and through kind of self-examination, becomes a more mature and more dimensional person. Still, pure of heart and appealing, but we feel that she's grown by the end. So that was always kind of at the core of the story, and kind of running secondary to that. I picture it as like rails, like on a train track or something. That you have that main one, and then running alongside of it is this subplot that is it's a friend story, it's a buddy story. That is also a police procedural, so it was a lot of these kind of spinning plates that you had to kind of prioritize. Some were more important than others, and it was just a lot of checking in on those those rails and making sure that they were running straight and not kind of affecting the other one too much or too little.
Yeah, and we kept checking with, we're great film fans, and so we do look at strong storytelling in films like LA Confidential. We looked at Chinatown. We talked about Double Indemnity a lot.
Fuck you, Gota.
We heard that's really popular here. Fuck you, Gota.
I don't know if you've heard of this movie, but it's very popular in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a little film. So you should check it out.
You so wanted to do that, huh?
Yeah.
You wanted to say that.
I wanted to say it. I just
Say it
wanted-
again. Say it again.
Fuck you, Gota.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Before we're going to take a big selfie with everybody. Because
Oh, the whole crowd?
Yeah, and I think you brought someone who's going to do that. But
Is it really a selfie if you're not taking it yourself?
I mean, you take it. Sorry,
I mean, it's like, hey man, take a selfie of me. Take a selfie of us. Come on, bro. Take a
I
selfie.
was doing so fine, and now I messed up.
No, it's in America too.
It's okay. You're the big hotshot. It's okay. I messed up.
Now I feel.
So I wanted to ask you the last question I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
It's okay if you say pass. If you're not going to answer it, I'm still going to ask you guys, and I want
And Clark too.
Clark to start on this one. So
Uh-oh. Is he gonna propose?
Oh, it's tough.
Such a hard question. I always say the sloth, and here's why. I say it because it's one of those moments in making an animated film where somebody pitches an idea. In this case, we're talking about animal stereotypes and what type of animal would run what type of an organization. And in this case, Jim Reardon, our co-head of story, said, well, what if a sloth ran the Department of Motor Vehicles? And in that moment, you see this room come alive as everybody starts to pitch the way they imagine that scene. And as a producer, you get there, you're really excited because you realize this scene has so much potential. And it means it's going to be a lot of work. You've got to figure out the dialogue, you've got to figure out how you're going to storyboard it and animate it and bring it to life. But at the end of the day, you really see the seed of something that could be incredibly spectacular in the film. So for me, selfishly, I've always been a huge fan of the sloth and that sloth scene.
Mm-hmm. That's a good choice. And I will say,
I will crush
your choice with my choice.
my choice is
Here comes my choice. No, my choice. I
The
think
sloth.
the sloth.
For the reason Clark said.
But a different sloth than yours. No, I like the sloths as well. No, okay. So I'm going to hear. I'm going to mix an animal fact with my choice because this is due to research. So in doing research and trying to figure out who would be the best mob boss for the film, we did decide on an Arctic shrew, and that was because we asked our animal experts, our zoological experts, what's the most vicious predator in the world? And they said, believe it or not, it is the shrew. The Arctic shrew is a mean, vicious, carnivorous predator. Horrible animal. They said this is true. If you put 4 shrews in a bucket overnight and put a lid on it, if you come back the next morning, you lift off the top, there will be 1 fat shrew left. It's true. They're awful little animals.
The other shrews.
They're awful. And
The
we thought,
worst of them will eat the other 3.
and we thought that is the perfect mob boss for the movies. That's the shrew is my favorite.
So everyone go home,
Take 4 shrews, put them in a bucket,
put them in a bucket,
put them in and go to sleep.
It's all right.
take
And wake up.
take a selfie
Take a selfie.
in the morning,
Wake up. 1 fat shrew.
post it on Twitter.
Put a shrew in the bucket.
Put
That's
the shrew
one of
in
my-
the bucket. Put the gun
It's one of my favorite folk songs.
So what's your favorite animal? Teddy?
So I need a little clarification. You mean in the movie or just in real life?
I actually meant the movie.
Oh, the movie.
You can go. No, you can go real life
No.
if you still know what that is.
Well, the hound, you know,
The hood.
the hound is
Yeah,
in
hound.
real life, but there's no hounds in this movie because
Yeah, why is that?
there are no humans in Zootopia.
So you did some research.
Yeah, we're not dumb. You know, we're not chimps.
We're a little
you
dumb.
know. We retain some of that knowledge. And hounds are domesticated animals.
Yeah.
So, but I would say I like Judy and I like rabbits. I was born near the rabbit. So
Oh.
rabbit. The rabbit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you put 4 rabbits in a bucket,
They will turn into shrews.
And the next morning we'll be one fat shrew, and you won't go, where'd my rabbits go? That shrew is back. Damn shrew. How do you get in the bucket?
That happens.
You bored through the floor.
Don't buy a shrew.
Yeah,
Stay away from it.
I could do this forever, but actually my wife just texted me. She's about to have a third baby.
Oh,
And I'm not kidding.
really?
I'm not kidding. We're going to take a picture now. A picture. Who's going to do it?
So you've got a baby on the way.
So then where do we?
How does a picture with does Trump a baby?
Oh, you haven't met my wife.
Oh, the shrew?
So, I've heard you've done this before, so I don't know how you... Should I take the picture of you guys with them in the background? I don't know what happens to my voice now. Something happens. That was okay. I kind of liked it. You were okay, you were okay, you were fantastic, man. Maybe there's some of that money left in there. You better. So, seriously, thank you very much. It's an amazing movie. It's going to do, I think, not too shabby. And it's wonderful. And thank you very much. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for your answers, for your honesty. Dankeschön, dass ihr mitgemacht habt. Clark Spencer. Byron Howard. Rich Moore. Zootopia, denkt an die Sperrfrist, das Embargo, sonst werden wir alle riesig. Dankeschön, kommt gut nach Hause, liebt euch, vermehrt euch und sagt dann ab dem 12. abends um 18:01 Uhr allen Bescheid, dass ihr ins Kino gehen sollt, zu Zootopia. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, ich bin Stefan Kuhlmann von 4 2, wenn es nicht gefallen hat, ich war Joko und Klaas.